Okay, hello everybody. Welcome back. Welcome in once again to the regular guy NBA DFS show. I am David. Welcome to the dungeon. And we're here for another episode of today's Daily Pick Six from the regular guy show. Before we get started, if you don't mind, if you wouldn't mind hitting that like button down below. Also, if you could hit the subscribe button and click on that little notification bell. That way, you guys get notified every time we do put out a new video. Every time we might start doing some live streaming here later in the week. So if any of you are interested in that, you'd certainly get notified if we try and do a little 30-minute live show before lock sometime later this week. That's to be determined yet, but we are hoping to get that done here before too long. We got some other videos we're planning on putting out, MLB type of stuff. So anyway, if you don't mind hitting the like button, hit the subscribe button, and let's get into today's pick six. Yesterday's pick six stunk. It was terrible. We don't have to spend a whole lot of time on it. We didn't pick the right guys. It's just the way it is with daily fantasy. We took some chances. They did not work out. Jetty Osman was terrible. DeLon Wright. Apparently Halliburton is just going to be the play for the Kings. And I say that, and you watch next game, he's going to go off. DeLon Wright, that is. But Embiid had a good game. We were in between Embiid and Westbrook. Wasn't sure if Westbrook was going to play or not. Westbrook did have another triple-double. Bradley Beal was kind of the play from Washington, though. So, yeah, we didn't have a great day yesterday. We did talk about when we were trying to get a little bit different, maybe looking at some San Antonio guys. I did manage to get DeMar DeRozan into one of my lineups, but it wasn't enough to get anywhere near the money. Murray and DeRozan both had games like they hadn't had in quite a while. Double-double for Dejounte Murray. So they were very productive. And if you guys got on those guys to get yourselves a little bit different, I hope you did. But let's move into today's slate. I feel better about today's slate. Little six-gamer, but there's a lot of different options here today. A lot of different ways we can go. So it's going to be interesting building lineups today. I'm putting the video out a little earlier than normal today, just because we're not waiting on 32 different guys' statuses like we were yesterday. A little bit calmer slate here. We already do know some pretty important information, so there are a few things we'll have to talk about and monitor as far as injuries go throughout the day, but not anything like it was yesterday. So a lot of good stud options on today's slate. You're going to have to figure out exactly which way you want to go as far as which studs to get into the lineup and how much value is going to show up, what value we currently have, to make a lineup work in a reasonable manner without trying to jam too many guys in and trying to find too many min salary guys, type of guys that just may not produce. So let's get into today's pick six. The first guy I'm going to start with is going to be my attempt to get different. I think a little bit different. It's a 6-game slate. We're going to have to find a couple, 3 different plays, I think. And guys, this is just simply going on a gut feel. I like the matchup. He hasn't been very good lately, but I think he can get right here against Brooklyn, and I don't think he's going to be very high owned. And we're going to start at the point guard position. And I'm going to take a swing today on Kyle Lowry at 7,200. Generally speaking, a lot of these Toronto guys haven't been good lately, and it's hard to figure out which one of them to even roster when everyone's healthy. Now, it's 11:45 in the morning here where I'm at, where I'm recording this video. Toronto has, all throughout the season, they have not been shy about resting guys on back-to-back slates. So it wouldn't be surprising to me if in the next couple hours we get some word that some guys from Toronto are going to sit out. As of right now, we think everyone's going to play. And again, it can be very difficult to figure out, which guy is going to have the big night or whatever from Toronto. But I love the matchup against Brooklyn. It's a pace-up spot. Kyle Lowry has not been shooting the ball very well lately, but I think if he can get right anywhere, it can be against Brooklyn tonight. And again, I don't think he'll have real high ownership just because it is so hard to figure out which Toronto guys to play, and there are so many other good-looking options today, especially at the point guard position. Now, if you don't want to take this risk, I certainly understand. There are other guys that look like safer plays, at least in the point guard position. Marcus Smart would be a guy that would come to mind. Simply, we know that Tatum is out. We know that Kemba Walker is going to be out for Boston. We're going to talk about that a little bit more later. John Wall has been set down for the season. So if you want to look to a guy like Kevin Porter Jr., all those guys are fine options. We're just going to try and, like I said, it's a gut play. And I don't think you're going to have a whole lot of high ownership with Kyle Lowry. So we're just going to take a risk here. We're going to take a chance. Much like Dejounte Murray yesterday, he hadn't been playing very well going into that game yesterday, and then comes out and has a big double-double, scores a ton of fantasy points. So hopefully we'll get the same thing today out of Kyle Lowry. So we talked about the studs that we're going to have to choose from with Luka. Cat has a good matchup today. Jaylen Brown is going to be very popular on this slate. I don't know if Marcus Smart's going to be popular on this slate just because I don't think a lot of people are going to want to pay his price. But Boston's going to be pretty popular here, and certainly Jaylen Brown is going to be popular. I am going to go in our next slot for the pick six. I'm going to go to power forward, and I'm just going to put Giannis in. It's a great matchup against Charlotte. Giannis can be pretty much matchup proof anyway, but the last time these two teams played, I believe Giannis had like 74 or 75 fantasy points. I don't see any reason why he couldn't do something like that again today against Charlotte. He is one of my favorite studs, one of my favorite spend ups today. Again, you're gonna have to choose which studs you prefer, but I like Giannis today in a great matchup against Charlotte, and I wouldn't be surprised at all. In fact, I'm counting on him having another big game like he did last time that these guys played. So the next guy we're going to move to is one of the guys we're going to have to watch for injury. He's questionable again today. He's missed the last two slates. Eventually, he's going to play. And we're going to go to Goga in the center position today. Now, obviously, we have to monitor this. If he doesn't play, then we're going to have to switch out of it. And we also should watch to see if he's going to be on any minutes limit because he has missed several slates now. And there could be such a thing as he's going to be limited if he does come back. So if he does play, but we get information that he's going to be limited, then I'm not going to be as high on him. But if he's going to play full minutes, and he is going to play today at 4,000 on DraftKings, I think he's one of the better value plays on the slate today. Eventually, he's going to come back. I'm thinking maybe it'll be today. But again, that's something we got to monitor here. If he doesn't play, we can look to O'Shea Brissett. Jakar Sampson got big minutes in the last game. He wasn't very productive. Sampson makes me nervous to roster just because he isn't really a productive player. But if he's going to have to get the big minutes again tonight, he's not a horrible option to go to. But for now, I'm going to hope that he plays, and I'm going to leave Batazzi in here at the pick six. Now, we'll move on. Hopefully this will be a guy that can get us a little bit different as well. We're going to go to the forward position, and just because of the matchup against Minnesota, not a guy that I've been rostering very often. In fact, not very many guys from Houston have I been rostering. I'm going to take a shot here, though, on Christian Wood. Again, good matchup against Houston, fast pace. Cat doesn't, he's a great player. He really isn't known for his defense. Christian Wood has been very good lately. So I think that because of the matchup, because of the minutes he's going to play, they're still shorthanded in Houston. John Wall's out now for the rest of the season. So I'm going to take a chance on Christian Wood. I don't think he's going to be that high owned, and he should be able to have a big game against Minnesota. Another guy you might look to, he's been really good since he's come over to Houston, Kelly Olynyk. The thing about Olynyk is he's center only. And so that makes it a little tougher in the roster build, but he would be a fine option, and he's cheaper than Wood, but you're going to have to use up one of your center spots. And I don't want to do that with Kelly Olynyk because I am going to keep riding this train We are finally getting the minutes, and we are finally getting the performance that we expected out of Yusuf Nurkic, much like last year when he was, he was just a really good fantasy player last year. And I got into NBA fantasy at the end of last year, but, Nurkic has dealt with injuries so much this year, but now that he's fully healthy, now that he's back to getting his minutes, he's just been really, really good. And at 6,800, let's just take a look. His last two games, almost 60 and 53 fantasy points, getting close to 30 minutes. If I'm going to get 30 minutes out of Nurkic, obviously he can certainly pay off his price point and then some. So that's why I'm not going to Olynyk here, because I want the center position, because I want to roster Nurkic. Now, let's talk about the last guy in the pick six today. I am struggling with this a little bit. For now, because I want to save the salary, I'm going to put, and I'm not playing Jaylen Brown today, just because, I think a lot of people are going to be playing him today. I'm going to put Peyton Pritchard in, assuming that he gets more minutes now that Jaylen Brown is out. And if he gets the minutes, he can certainly pay off this price point and he can be productive. However, I don't know what Boston's starting lineup is going to be today. We just got word a little bit ago, Robert Williams is out for sure. That was expected. But I'm really curious to see what Boston's starting lineup is going to be. So you're going to have to keep an eye on that today. Peyton Pritchard's a fine option if he gets more minutes with Kemba Walker being out. And I'm going to assume that he does. But I wouldn't be opposed to pivoting off of this guard position. And let me give you a couple other guys that I'm looking at. First of all, a guy that I haven't really ever rostered because he really hasn't been that productive. But in the last few games, with Sabonis being out and Turner being out, Edmund Sumner has got big minutes. And at 4K, he's still very affordable. And if you take a look at his game log, it popped him up here. All right, that's fine. That's not where I want him, but I guess it doesn't really matter. 32 and 33 fantasy points. He's played 34 and 37 minutes. If he's going to keep doing that, he's 300 more than Pritchard. I don't see any reason why he wouldn't continue to play these minutes. And, if he's going to get us over 30 fantasy points in 34, 37 minutes at $4,000, he's a great option. Couple other guys that I really am thinking about rostering today. And again, it would be a little risky, but you know me, I'm willing to take some of these risks. I'm going to look at Ty Jerome out of Oklahoma City. He has been coming off the bench. Theo Maledon has been starting. But he's been the better player of the two. And the last game against Philadelphia last night, he came off the bench, played 31 minutes, scored 31 fantasy points. Obviously, that's exactly what we're looking for. Is he going to do that again today? I might be willing to take a chance on that. If he's going to get 30 minutes off the bench, he can be very productive, as you see, coming off the bench. And at 3,500, certainly he'll pay off that price point and could be another really good value play in the guard position if we want to try and spend up with what we've got left on the books here. And then the other guy, this was really interesting last night. Maxi Kleber started for Dallas. I don't know what happened. Take a drink of coffee here. Oh, there we go. Mouth getting dry. I don't know what happened. If his back started acting up again, if he started getting spasms, or if it just because he wasn't very good. But if we go over here and look at his game log last night, he ends up only playing 10 minutes, scored 2 points. It was awful. But then they bring Trey Burke in off the bench, which is really interesting to me because they don't really play the same position. They decide to go a little bit smaller. Burke starts the second half instead of Kleber, gets 28 minutes, scores 19 points, 4 assists, 2 rebounds, and has a great fantasy night. Porzingis is likely out again today. Josh Richardson is out again today. So I don't know if they're going to start Kleber again or if they're going to maybe play some form of small ball. But if Trey Burke is going to get those kind of minutes, he is certainly a productive player and can pay off that price point. So that's where I'm struggling here in the pick six today. I want to play a value guard here because I want to have enough salary to play a couple of mid-range guys up here that I like for sure. So I guess just take your pick, whichever one you're most comfortable with. I'm going to put Pritchard in for the official pick six. But Sumner, maybe Jerome, maybe Burke, and maybe another piece opens up here later in the day. You never know. Like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if Toronto just decided to sit some guys. So play with that spot however you want. They're all right around the same price. I think there's a couple of shooting guards and small forwards positions that you're going to like when you start building your lineups that you're going to want to jam in to this lineup. And I'm specifically, honestly, I'll just tell you who I'm talking about. I'm talking about D'Angelo Russell. He has been coming off the bench. I don't know if they're going to move him back into the starting lineup or not. So I'm going to give you a bonus play, I guess, here in the pick six. I really like D'Angelo Russell tonight. Obviously, the matchup against Houston is great. Again, he's been coming off the bench. I don't know. Maybe he'll move back into the starting lineup at some point. But 31 minutes, 29 minutes, and last night, 53 fantasy points. I think he can absolutely repeat that. This was against Utah, which is obviously a much better defensive team than Houston. I don't think they'll rest him on a back-to-back. Haven't heard any word about that. So if he's going to play 31 minutes, I want to try and find a way to get D'Angelo Russell into my shooting guard position, and that's why I'm struggling here with how much I want to spend value-wise on the guard position. But anyway, we're going to leave it at Peyton Pritchard for now. Consider Sumner, maybe consider Burke or Ty Jerome. So that's it for today's pick six, guys. Again, I really appreciate you tuning in. Before you get out of here, please, if you don't mind, it helps out a bunch if you'll hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'll give me a follow on Twitter, it's at SandoDFS. I'll put out some random stuff throughout the day as injury news happens to keep you guys updated, or if there's something I want to change to the pick six. So at SandoDFS, again, that's down in the comments line here. And if you could like, subscribe, and follow, comment, any constructive criticism, any comments you want to leave. We'd like to get started maybe doing like a giveaway or something coming up sometime in the future. But yeah, guys, that's going to be it for today's Pick Six. Thanks for joining me. Good luck to all of us tonight, and hopefully we're going to bounce back and hit the money after a 2-day slide. Thanks again for joining us.